Looplings, and welcome back to the Loopy Homestead. I'm sorry it's been so long, but we have been crazy busy, so there's been almost no time for us to film anything that we've been doing, but there has been a lot that we've been doing, and we have a couple projects going on today that we wanted to bring you along for some various different things, and maybe give you an update on the different stuff that's been going on. The first thing is who's standing back here a little bit. In one of our last videos, we showed that we were picking up our boar, and we showed us bringing him home. Well, this is him. He's grown quite a bit in the last few months. Come on, boys. Hi, Pebblton. Let's see if we can get him so you guys can see him a little bit more. Come on, Pebblton. Hi, Pebbles. Can you come say hi? He is a very nice boar. We're happy to have him. He's very friendly. As well as back here, you can see some of them laying around. Those are the piglets we had a few months ago. They're kind of old now. We didn't have a lot of buyers right off the beginning, so we're kind of continuing to raise them. We might have a couple to sell today. Our mamas are back in together. She's hanging out towards the back of the pen there. And of course, all the other pigs and chickens are hanging out. Currently, our American breasts are still kind of locked up. We haven't had a good way to contain them out of their thing yet, simply because of the fact that they are kind of flyers. I mean, they don't fly in the sense of birds fly, but they would definitely even go over something as high as our pig fence here. So we're having to figure out a different solution. Until then, unfortunately, they're a little more cooped up than we'd like them to be, but we're working on a solution for that because our comets are so happy being able to scratch around in grass and dirt, find bugs, and we know that they would be even happier that way too. They are egg laying age now, and we've been getting lots of eggs from them. We still haven't chosen to incubate yet. We're moving in towards winter, so we're not sure that now is the time, but at least definitely by spring, we'll be breaking that incubator out and we will be getting some of those incubated because we definitely want to make more use of those dual purpose chickens. We're really kind of tired of buying our chicken meat. This was the first year we didn't raise Cornish cross in a while simply because our breasts are in the run that we would have used for that. But that being said, I'll take you around and show you some of the projects we're working on today. A project I started working on just the other day was this right here. Now you remember our last video was finishing up this bun bungalow, but we need to make it taller for two reasons. One, we need to finally get a roof on here so that way when the snow comes, it doesn't completely bury Momo in snow. And with that, if I put a roof at the height it is, my sister won't be able to walk in and take care of him anymore. So with the roof on here, it'll be better. The second reason we need it to be taller is we did place his little hutch in the corner here, and he did at one point figure out how to jump from the plaything I made him to the top of the roof and work his way out of here. It was kind of impressive. He's a little bit of a James Bond in a sense that way, a little escape from Alcatraz. He also likes to dig underneath, so we have had to install some hardware cloth and things underneath so he can't keep digging out. But other than that, he's really happy. The primary reason for this shade cloth is it at least creates a temporary barrier. We're going to do either hardware cloth or some plastic paneling on this to finish up the top. It all depends on what my sister wants to do. And then we'll be able to actually attach the shade cloth in a way that makes it so it's shady during the summertime, but is also protected. So right now the shade cloth, its only purpose is to still create a barrier around the open places since we don't have the hardware cloth on there. This is the final place on our project list today. When we ran power to the barn, I said that the chicken coop would eventually be getting that as well. Well, today's the day. We have already dug our trench from the barn to the chicken coop, and I already have temporarily attached our wire up the side of the chicken coop here. But we'll be installing a 4-gang plug box just like we did in a couple places in the barn, but we're also going to install a security light that's motion activated, not for security, but that way when we come out at night, especially fall, winter as it's getting dark, we don't have to bring extra lights with us. We can just walk out. The floodlight will provide all we need for getting to the feed and all that other kind of stuff. Also looking a little messy out here right now. We've got some nesting boxes for the breast chickens I need to get up. But that being said, this just needing a bit of tidy, but it's gonna get it when we go to do the power. It'll make it much nicer for when we need to run the heat lamps in the wintertime. When we do eventually get around to butchering some chickens again, we've got to run our depucker. So we'll be able to plug it in right here as opposed to running extension cords all the way from the house. The pool that we use is right to my right here. And that will be able to be something that we can plug right in here as well during the summertime instead of having to string that a long ways. But that's that. Just some cleanup, some finally taking care of some projects today that have been way back on the docket simply because we have been wrapping up all of our construction. My parents are finally moved into their house. My sister is in her house, but hers still has a little finished work. And then my husband and I are getting rearranged into our house. So that way we can take over the master bedroom, and then our original bedroom that we were using will be turned into a guest room / tiny salon. And that's all in the process too, which again, the reason we haven't done any videos for a while. We haven't had anything to video. We've just been crazy busy lately. So hopefully we'll get back to that. You'll be able to see more of what's going on. We might do a little bit of a home tour. I'm not sure. But at the very least, we'll show you the outside finish work on everything, and you'll be able to see how life in Idaho has been going. This is where one of the primary projects today is taking place. My dad is here measuring out some, taking some measurements for what we're gonna do. When we built the pig stalls, it meant that we eradicated the place that we were parking our tractor. As it's fall, we're getting into more rainy seasons. Eventually snow will be coming, we know this much. It means we don't really, it's an expensive tractor. We don't wanna leave it out in the elements to continue to get awful. So we're gonna actually wall a little bit of our horse paddock off. This whole area is roofed here, but aside from when she stands here to seek food, Sam doesn't really use this area as much. She will still have a space outdoors that is covered, as well as her stall, which she spends most of her time in when it's nasty anyway. So really eliminating this section is not going to do much to her, and we're going to make sure it's safe so she doesn't have anywhere to get her feet stuck or, to get tangled up in. But we're going to put some boards up. We're going to use some of the extra hog fencing we have. Just put it up, create a barrier. This space is big enough for us to back the tractor into when the gates open. So nice bit of extra storage for our tractor, not really losing much from the horse. So sometimes saving stuff on the homestead works out better than you think it will. We found a chunk of pallet underneath some extra roofing from doing the houses that actually matches our longest span here. So we think that we're going to be able, instead of using the hog wire right there, to just go ahead and treat this like a fence line. The great part about it is it's a little sturdier for the horse. She can't lean on it and bend it over. But also, if we at any point decide to clad in that side of the barn, we actually already have some stuff to actually secure it to, both the beam at the top and with the rails at the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and get that installed. Oh, it looks like, yeah, this is a perfect fit. All that's really gotta be done is my dad is digging it out a little bit so we can set it a little more level, get it right in against the ground. But it's really an excellent height. It comes to about the waist. Here you can kind of see the hubs standing by it. But it's a really great height actually for what we're gonna need it for. So just goes to show, just because you don't need it now doesn't mean you won't ever need it. One of the things I'll need to do here is go ahead and remove this bucket hanger. So we're just going to go ahead and run some screws through the shallower end here, right into these 6x6, and then it's installed. You go ahead and figure out what you're doing down here. I'll finish getting this installed. Is the fence on?
Yeah.
Can we turn it off in case I leave? Not real interested in getting zapped today. In exciting new developments, we got this one screwed up and we just discovered another one at the back end of our pig pens. So awesome. We're going to be able to have two of these, which is perfect. My dad's going to get it measured here to see how big we need. Probably going to be the perfect size. I'm guessing we're going to have to cut it down a little bit, but maybe we'll be able to cut it down in just the right spot. Alrighty, we have both sides of this fencing done in here, so the horse can't get in this way. It's going to be a perfect spot to back the tractor. So we're going to go ahead and just get the tractor apart and be done with this project for the day. Between the end of this and the gate, and it's perfectly wide, so it'll be a great place. Like I said, this winter, if it gets too snowy or whatever and it's getting on the tractor, we can still come across this side here up to the rafter and wall in one side of it. That'll keep anything from blowing in on it, but mostly it's an expensive piece of equipment and we just want to take care of it as best as possible. So with that, we are going to move on from working on the tractor stuff to working on the stuff for Momo, which I pointed out. Like I said, the top right now, he can get out of that. So I want to make sure to get that done as quick as possible. It's kind of a crisp fall day, but I may have some extra hands come out and give me a hand putting this up. But it should go pretty quick. In a second, I'll show you the difference between what we're going to do with it now versus what we did with it before. As you recall from our Bun Bun Bungalow videos, for the bottom half, we built these square pieces away from here. We put the hardware cloth on them, screwed them together. We got them all pieced together as their panels and then came over and set them up. For this upper half, all we did, because we were using some scrap wood and I needed to kind of fit it in place as it was, is I went ahead and I built the upper frame first, everything but the back two pieces. And we will go around with the hardware cloth and just tack it to this. We will still use the same screw and staple method that we did before. I'm just not building the pieces off and then bringing them over. The exception to that is the two back pieces, because I need to build them slightly taller than what this is currently. And I can't walk behind this to put the hardware cloth on the back. So I will build those two pieces separately and assemble them just like we did these. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start with this first part here, because it really is this first part here that is allowing him to hop right up onto this and hop out if he so wanted to. That was a ladybug. At any rate, that's what I'll be doing first. It's just a matter of getting the hardware cloth up here, stapling it, wrapping it. It's gonna go pretty quick. All right, so I've got the most important corner wrapped right now. It is the one that he was able to jump up and get out of. I still have to make sure to get the back done today, but ultimately, if something happened right now and I was called away, I wouldn't be as worried as I've been for the last however long that we've been dealing with having to have that shade cloth across the top here to make sure he can't get out. I'm gonna do a separate little panel. This is part of the door, so it'll be nice and small. And you may have noticed, I don't know if you can see it so well on the camera, but I did leave this very tall here. And that's to facilitate the fact that my back will be higher, so I will have some sort of arc here I will need to meet. And as far as it goes for right here, I will actually attach this right underneath the roof, so that way there is a seamless amount of gap, none that is, between the roof and that. And like I said before, we really care about our animals. We love them. Our goal is to predator-proof things. So as we get nearer to winter, where maybe other animals like rabbits, mice, that kind of stuff are hiding out, I would prefer we don't find anything that desires to get into this. And the more I can protect it, both top and bottom, the better that will be long-term. I know it sounds a little insane, but we do come from a place where things would crawl up over the top to get down into something, and I just don't want to see that happen to an animal that we really love around here. So I've got to get my other couple of rolls opened up, and then I will wrap the other side. should be just as simple as this, take me no more than say 10 minutes. And then I gotta work on building my 2 back panels and fitting those in. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me over top of our neighbor chainsawing, but it occurred to me that instead of doing the other hardware cloth chunk first, I would rather put my screws in the end I've already taken care of, because that way I can take this shade cloth and actually put it in place where it's gonna be pretty permanently. And then too, I'm not dealing with having to, move it around out of the area I've got it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do these first. My little buddy is putting them together for me so I can screw right on, and then we'll move on. Screws are in on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the shade cloth off, and I'm gonna get it strapped around this side. This is the side that seems to get the most sun based on where we live. So it's the side that is okay to be shaded like 90% of the time. So I have this all tacked up here. I've got a little bit of overhang that I will put over the door here. I will have to overlap it a little bit because back this way, because it is a little too wide for the door. And then right here, because this shade cloth has been cut once before, we've got this roll. And I suppose I could have cut it off at the bottom, but ultimately I really don't know that I'm gonna need this piece anywhere here. So what I've chosen to do instead with it is something we have going on for our chickens in an area where I've doubled it up. That means his house, where it is the warmest in the summertime, has an extra layer of this shade cloth. It's not gonna hurt anything to be here. And maybe during the winter, it might provide a little bit more wind resistance. So that way his little hutch stays nice and warm. When we did the barn electrical, I mentioned that we might give him a heat lamp, in which case, yeah, it'll keep that nice and toasty. So on to the next part is to finish doing that wrap like I talked about earlier. And then I will deal with the remainder of the shade cloth, and then I'll start figuring out what I need for my back panels. You can't get it. Oh, you can't get in for the same reason I can't get out. It's screwed up here. We have to let Granddad cut it. So yes, I'm trapped in here. I screwed myself in here. My dad's just going to cut between our 2 slats here with a reciprocating saw. This is going to become our transom, and then our door will be a little shorter. I had intended for the door to be this tall, but as we got looking at the trusses I was going to do for the roof, the height of the door was going to interfere with the height of the roof. So it just made more sense to make a little transom, shorten the door. Door and roof won't be an issue now. The walls, as we showed you earlier, are all up, and I have spent some time building some trusses out of scrap stuff from the pallets. These are the U-beams that are in them, and then we just tacked a couple of 2x4s on the outside of them. As you can see, compared to the other day, I am bundled up. We woke up this morning and we went from having a couple of 70-degree days the other day to suddenly 36 at about 7 o'clock this morning. And we don't know if we'll really get it or not, but we have a winter advisory coming in that we may get anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of snow. Who knows? Just all of a sudden like this. As far as the forecast shows, it's not going to stick around long, but it means that we need to hurry up and get the roof finished on this. So what we're going to do is we're getting down. You can see there's some pieces over here in the corner, some long, thinner pieces. I think they're 1x4s. We're going to put those across the top, lengthways across these trusses to sort of make a grid with the trusses. And then we have leftover roofing material from our houses, and we're gonna go ahead and put those on there. And then that should wrap up this roof. I still have some hardware cloth to do on the sides, just where it goes up into that peak. But other than that, Bun Bun Bungalow will be totally finished. Somewhere else is doing it. To me, it smells like a roasted marshmallow.
Or, yeah, marshmallow or toast. Oh, that's what I'm smelling.
What?
This lamp laying on the ground, you hooked it in, put it in the
Oh, jeez. And that's a fire on the Loopy Homestead. Well, we have gotten some rain, and for the sake of my phone not getting destroyed, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording here, but we will give you a peek when we are able to. Quick update, what was rain is now turning to hail. So hopefully we can get this project wrapped up quick. So we did get a bit of a cloud break here, so no rain for the moment, no hail for the moment. Hopefully it'll stave off while we can finish the roof. Thanks for joining us back on the Loopy Homestead. Sorry we didn't get to the chicken coop today, but there was just too much to do. If you'd like to stay in the loop, please subscribe to our videos. And if you'd like to help us find more looplings like you, please like and share them. See you next time!